towards this Thresh. I think this is a good pickup, right? I cannot understate the value of Thresh at enabling mobile AD carries. And with Jinx and Aphelios still open and available, you know you're going to have one of those power picks.
Yep, we didn't see the Jinx and Aphelios banned this time around, so it is going to be a trade-off there. The Thresh going to be locked in here for for BLG. OMG going to take away the Jinx. They do not want that. Very powerful duo on the bot side. Almost certainly going to mean Doggo goes on to that Aphelios as well. So we're going to see that very tried and tested matchup happening as we come into this series, or this game of this series. And then for OMG, where do you want to go? Maybe take away a jungler. Do you want to try and go for your primary pick on, you know, the top laners, or hell, even the mid laners? Because right now they're going to be the ones taking away the Viktor, and now this spices up the draft just a little bit now, because you got to decide what you want to try and take away here for BLG.
Yeah, I think you pick Aphelios in this rotation. That makes complete sense. The question is, do you want to pick a mid laner now to answer the Viktor? Is there anything that particularly stands out? You know, Zoe's already gone. You could take something like a Syndra or a Vex, or you could just go for a jungler, right? Take a jungler before more of them get banned away. If they do want to prioritize the Xin Zhao again or go in a different direction, now is the time before the pool gets thin. But I do like the Viktor pick, right? You know the Corki's gone, so you get one of those scaling mages, and you know you don't have to deal with the fact that the other team has a Corki to match it.
Yeah, and then we'll see now what FoFo wants to pick into it here. So this could be... He has technically got the counter pick, but Viktor doesn't really have many counter picks in the meta right now, and they're actually not going to go with it whatsoever. They're going to go ahead and say, look, we want top side. But again, I feel like you're happy enough with this pick, because you've kind of given up your solo lane pick now, and I feel like OMG would be happy to take anything for Shanji here, and then just, or either that or just take away the jungle and then ban them away.
Yeah, they offer the support matchup. Happy with Cole's performance on the Nautilus. They want the good matchup. We often see Nautilus picked into Thresh. And it's good to do Aphelios, right? If Aphelios is in range to do 200 years things, he's in range to get ulted. Now, OMG are going to ban away that LeBlanc, and I think you want to kind of eliminate threats to Creme. So LeBlanc, Syndra, Vex, all possible things you could take off the table. For BLG, I think you look for top lane answers to the Gwen. You could also ban junglers, though, but we often see things like Jax picked into the Gwen. But Rumble is something Shanji has shown proficiency on, so it makes sense.
Yeah, it is definitely something that he has been able to bring out and has gotten multiple players of the games from it. And it feels bad for OMG when you have two exceptional stars in Shanji and Creme, that they're kind of sharing or stealing, if you will, the player of the games, or the mans of the rifts, or whatever you want to call it, from each other. So they're not going to be able to stack it against or with each other. As we now see the last one, OMG banning away the Azir. This is a FoFo favorite, and it's something that they have recognized and said, look, we just don't want FoFo on comfort, because, and I got to admit, from my point of view, FoFo has been a massive weak link for BLG so far in this series and the last.
Yeah, I mean, I think he looked okay in that last game, but in the series before, absolutely, definitely looked like the weaker link. But maybe they're not concerned about his early pressure. They're more concerned if they have a scaling pick that could become problematic later on. So they end up getting rid of the Azir. They are going to take the Xin Zhao here. Happy to take that for Aki. Obviously, really strong in the meta. And honestly, I feel like it's probably... I mean, it is the jungler that's getting picked the most at the moment. Now for BLG, you know, you have options. If you want to apply that early pressure, you could go for a mid laner, as we talked about, something like the Syndra, something like the Vex. You could also go for something that's just like a standard mage. Orianna is an option. They are going to go for the Trundle. So this is something that we haven't seen as much of. But it is an answer into the Xin Zhao. Like, Xin Zhao can't get a melee range off you because you chomp him and steal his AD. So kind of makes a lot of sense in this situation. If you want to go toe-to-toe with Aki, BLG seem to be toying with the Orianna option. Would obviously give a lot of protection, facilitation to the team, and he is going to just opt in for that one.
Yeah, goes in for it, and that's going to be the Orianna. Nice, decent pick as well. It has got a lot of self-sustain and perseverance, as we do see now. OMG hovering between their two different options. They've got the pick of the litter, what they want to try and take into the Gwen. The Graves is still available as well, should they want to try and pivot off onto that. So lots of things they can go for here on the side of OMG. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Gangplank, and boom, there it is. Okay, Shanji taking out the Gangplank, massive amounts of AoE damage they can get down. And again, we're seeing very, very good late game AoE teamfight coming out from OMG.
Yeah, I think it helps to keep the late game more on parity, right? Because I think when Orianna Aphelios is very threatening, if it was just the Viktor and the Jinx, it might be a little bit concerning. But GP obviously really strong late game carry. But also the reason he's kind of been seen more on this patch than maybe summer last year is because with TPing behind the enemy bot lane no longer a thing, like top laners often aren't TPing other than for themselves at the moment, right? So GP loves that. He's
fighting to get this series back on track and prove that OMG can, in fact, bleed. At the end of it all has to end up happening on the Rift. We are going to see a tried and tested matchup in that bot lane, and it's all about the rest of the map and how that one goes. And I want to see what Aki can do on this Xin Zhao pick.
Often we see when it is the Aphelios into the Jinx, like the goal is to try and apply that pressure earlier. Eventually, Abel gets to the point where he will outrange Doggo, and it becomes a bit trickier, right? It no longer becomes, I can stand here and just shred. It kind of has to be like, I need to find opportunities to Gale Force in and burst to Squishy, because, you know, you can't do that much to Aki because when he has his ult up. Cold, if Cold dies, it doesn't matter. We saw that last game, and everyone else should be maintaining distance from you. One of the limitations of Aphelios is his range, but we do see OMG stacking up at the bot lane. Some nice vision put down from WeiWei. He really wants to track Aki. If you can go toe-to-toe with him, he is comfortable with that.
Very, very comfortable with it. We will see WeiWei and Aki starting on the top side, so pathing down towards the bot lane. I will say WeiWei has got the Trundle Pillar of Ice, so is a very powerful form of CC. It's almost it's not a stun, but it feels like a stun sometimes with how slow you can be. So we'll see where he's able to utilize that in the early stages. Getting some early summoners might be the port of call for either of these sides. As we can see now, both junglers happy to take a leashless start. Again, nothing too untoward in that regard.
And things as well, you can get like a decent knock-up on the pillar if you place it pixel perfect. Obviously depends what you're up against, but the thing is, you think about like Creme on the Viktor, Abel on the Jinx, you know, these are immobile backline carries. You put a pillar behind them, they don't have flash, they're kind of locked in.
Locked a little bit in. Speaking of locked in, having this mid laner picked in, and again, Creme has been the focal point for this side for OMG, has been the reason why we've been so, you know, so ready with the praise, I suppose. And again, hasn't had the greatest of performances, I will say. Probably not as takeover-y on the Viktor. And I want to see if he's able to continue his presence on us. We do see Breed getting bullied out, pretty standard in the top side. And right now it is just pressure across the board here for OMG. So WeiWei's got a couple of options available to him should he want to try and make this one turn around.
Yeah, I mean, you can look mid, right? Cream is pretty far pushed up. And it's actually interesting. It feels like he doesn't have that much information on WeiWei because of his positioning. He was leaning down a little bit towards the bot side. Typically, you want to lean towards your jungler, but that's not really the case when there's also a Trundle on the other side. So I guess he is leaning towards his ward that does give him some cover, and he should be pretty safe altogether. We can see, though, obviously a great option with the Thresh is setting up ganks in the bot lane. It is a Glacial Augment Thresh as well. You can Lantern the Trundle in, flash play, and it's basically a guaranteed kill.
And let's bring this game back to why we have, or what we're expecting from these teams. Because for BLG, yes, they're missing Uzi, it is Doggo, but still a fantastic AD carry in his own right. I suppose the way we're looking at it, for BLG, they need to be coming out the gate swinging. Getting these losses early is not impossible to climb up from, but it's definitely not what we expect to see from them. Yes, they've had a difficult start, and they're still 1-0. They still have not lost this series just yet. But we just have such high expectations for them that it just feels like anything but a stomp feels like almost a loss at that point.
I think the first series wasn't convincing, and even if they do win this series, it won't be convincing because of that game one, right? So there's still definitely a lot of question marks about how well the team will perform, because everyone's, you know, people can throw the word super team out consistently, and it's like you have a lot of expectations to deliver. I think that's a nice thing for OMG. The expectations weren't nearly as high for OMG, but they have been delivering. And as we said, this is like the first big test, and so far they're doing good. We do see, getting back to the game, WeiWei fishing. Oh, Creme.
Yeah, he's going to have to burn his flash here, I would imagine. There, actually, no. Nicely done there with the gravity field. You can see WeiWei was setting up the ward to see if he could maybe get himself turned around on that one, but doesn't actually go for it. And now on this bot side, going to land the Q and actually trade it back immediately. They pop down the chompers as well, so it's going to be Doggo probably taking a little bit of an unfavorable trade. As I say that, the support's the ones that need to be a little bit careful. Flash for flash. The zap gets blocked by a minion, and now it's going to be a flash forward. No, he doesn't get the auto attack down. Double kill for BLG. Doggo back on the board in game 2.
Beautiful play, and the key difference maker in that one was the heal from Doggo. He waited out the ignite, made sure the grievous wounds had ended, got the full heal, and then because of that, Abel got baited in. He was like, oh, we're gonna get the kill. Huge heal comes out that isn't reduced, and then he ends up overcommitting with the flash, isn't able to kill Crisp, and it gets turned around. The patience, excellence, and Doggo showing that he's more than enough to stand in the place of Uzi.
Very well played there by Doggo. Really good patience. And despite all this in the bot lane, Doggo didn't use his flash. He still has that summoner available and is very much accelerated now on this bot side. 10 CS lead, a pickaxe on top of the high noon quiver compared to just 2 long swords. Let's have a look at the pro view because this is exactly what you want to be seeing from your AD carry.
Yeah, so I actually love the move coming out from Chris to block and play away, but the ignite's there, but it times out. Heal comes in very late, full healing, and now, you know, you don't finish off Chris, and Doggo is still so healthy because he got all the heal. Remember, Abel has cleanse. He doesn't have a combat summoner that impacts like just raw health. All he has is he can ignore a bit of CC, but in terms of damage, doesn't really help him out. Now Chris might look for something.
Yeah, they're going to go for it. They have the Gravitum there as well, but they forgot about the cannon barrage. The Aphelios is dead, and oh, we were just praising you, BLG. We were just talking about how well you were playing, and they trade back 3 kills. Triple kill for Rocky on this Xin Zhao. They forgot about the cannon barrage.
And that was a disaster. I mean, I can't spin it any other way. Doggo flops, flashes in, and... You're absolutely right, 100%. They forgot about the cannon barrage. There's no way you go for that play. Like, you were out. You were out and away, and you could have walked it off. And we'll get the replay of this situation. So they protected Chris, but then Doggo flashes in. Ends up in the cannon barrage, in the chompers. It's just an absolute disaster. I don't know. Personally, I think you shouldn't have flashed in even if they didn't have the cannon barrage, but that is absolutely one way to guarantee OMG coming ahead. Now a triple kill for Aki, 3-0 on the Xin Zhao. He is going to be extremely strong.
And just look at the swing as well on that bot side. We were just talking about how the Aphelios was 10 CS ahead, 2 kills, doing great. Look at the gold. It is still about 500 in the favor of Doggo, and he will pick up a couple of third plates here himself, but not as big of an advantage as you expected it to be. The biggest one I'm looking at now is that jungle. 1,200 gold between Aki and WeiWei, and that's a big, big issue you now got to deal with on the side of BLG, because again, we saw how active Aki was in game 1. We saw how well he was able to get himself into position to make himself a nuisance on backsides, and Xin Zhao is just another one of those carries. Fair enough, not as easy accessible as the Talon, but still can do a hell of a lot of work.
And the thing is, if you end up ahead in this matchup against the Trundle, like the whole point of the Trundle is that he can duel the Xin Zhao early because he reduces his AD with his chomp and he gets a ton of attack speed, right? If Xin Zhao's ahead, that entire dynamic is smashed, and now Aki can just, you know, pretty much do what he wants. It is a very scary position, and it's almost frustrating for BLG, right? You make such a good play in the 2v2, and then you just overcommit. And this is the power of that GP from Shanji, right? Able to throw the ult down, able to contribute, despite the fact that we no longer have early TPs.
Now, OMG have themselves a little bit of an advantage in the bot side. WeiWei can no longer fight against this Xin Zhao, so Smite's going to be used there. WeiWei will have him losing his red buff. The Orianna is trading in, but when everyone else walking up from the bot side, you cannot take that trade anymore. So now, bot lane in favor, mid lane in favor, jungle in favor. It is a little bit of an unfortunate situation, and the passive winner of all this was Shanji, who's picked up 3 assists just for popping out his cannon barrage. You can continue to farm up a storm in that top side.
It's such a nice one, right? You get all the extra gold from the assists. You get the extra gold from farming with your Q. It's just money city. It's just Gangplank, right?
Just Gangplank. Cash, what is it? Cash Ash? I'm trying to think of all the different synonyms we've had for all the different like gold earning champions. It was Gangplank,
remember
Cash Ash.
Remember when they used to be, what was the item that built into Static Shiv? It was like 800 gold, and every time you kill a minion, you got like extra gold, and they would just, 80 characters would just sit on it until like full build.
Well, I'll think about that in a second. Shanji in a lot of trouble here. Going to pop down his own cannon barrage there. The stock wave is a sombrero, but a good one at that. And they do pick up a kill. Good response here from the side of BLG. Good roam from FoFo, getting himself out onto the map.
Yeah, I think maybe the flash was a little bit unnecessary, but he is able to find the kill, able to secure that one, and a much needed win for BLG on that. They're going to get the Herald in the back of this as well. The return, though, is a lot of tower damage on the bot side from OMG, but I think BLG, you're happy to take a little bit of a hit in the bot side so you can be more proactive on the other side of the map.
Well, good start here from both these teams. If I look at the replay here, and this is just good from FoFo, recognizing that he might not be in the exact range of it, so he has to flash in, gets a good shockwave. So very well done here from BLG, just to keep this Gwen at least one of the lanes in an advantageous position.
And now you have the Herald, which you can look to use around the map. You can put a bot lane if you want to snowball Doggo. You know, you have a lot of options in that regard.
Now, dragon spawning in 1 minute and 20 seconds time. You do have a Gale Force here for Doggo, so Abel will have to be a little bit more careful. They fought WeiWei and Crisp there on the bot side with that Scryer's Bloom, so Cold knows exactly what's going on. It is just going to be a push in of the wave here, stacking up that chakras. Now Aki walking in. They have Creme as well.
No cannon barrage though.
Yeah, there's no cannon barrage, but they didn't actually quite catch that little ward there just up by the ramp, so they don't know exactly where they're getting their vision, but they know that they have it.
Now BLG, man, they are fishing, but Abel is just going to reset, and as a result, they don't get anything. It's going to be a bit of a waste of time. Maybe they feel this one out though. If they push the wave up, they could go for Herald. If they placed it down, they get Fierce Tower, right? It's 2 plates to die, so they eventually just decide to call it. They assume Abel is reset. They're going to be able to get this. Doggo can walk up and get a ton of gold. Things are looking pretty solid again. He's already 500 gold up thanks to those 2 kills. It's a Thresh, remember? He should be fine. That's
true. That's true. You're absolutely correct. And I think the side of OMG also recognized that it was a Thresh. As we can see now, the Rift Herald just being taken down. I do love the fact that even if you kill the enemy Rift Herald, it gets Jinx excited, so you get the extra bit of move speed and attack speed, which is a bit crazy to me. Dragon going to be started here, though, by OMG. They will trade out the power now for power later as they start that stacking up. We will not have a Chem Tech Rift. We may have a Hex Tech Rift, and that is very good for both of these teams, as we now see Shanji recognizing he is not in a position to carry this game if he gets caught out, so he backs away. There's the Cannon Barrage used to just filter out the wave. This is the power of the Gangplank. Not really a lot else you can do here from OMG. You got yourself the dragon, and now you've got yourself an Infernal Rift.
Yeah, and Shanji's able to clear up the rest of the wave, power the TP, and OMG having 2 dragons sets them up pretty well for the later stages. It's still BLG like a minor bit ahead, but there's a significant lead between the AD carries, right? 1.2k gold between Doggo and Abel. This is what you want when you're picking your Aphelios. You want to have that lead so that you can apply pressure later on before Jinx just outranges you.
Now both teams hovering around this top side. It isn't 3 minutes now until this Rift Herald spawns, so no real objective, I should say, until anyone gets their big items. We are still waiting for that first item spike for a lot of the side of OMG, but for BLG, they are got the Gale Force. They are going to have the Rift Maker, and I imagine the Luden's Tempest as well very shortly. So a lot of gold going over to Doggo, a lot of important items available to him should he want it, and you can see it there in the gold lead. It's about 1,000 there in the AD carries alone, so a lot of pressure here for Doggo to be able to make use out of all the resources he's been getting.
I think there's pressure on both AD carries, right? Because I think Abel in the last game, his positioning was a little bit suspect at times. And the thing is, he's not playing Ezreal. He doesn't have that same ability to dash in and out. He has to position himself where he wants to be, with the exception of having a flash. And the thing is, he doesn't even have a Thresh. That's the thing, is Doggo can afford to be a bit more aggressive with the Lantern option. Abel needs to be a bit more concerned. Now, they're looking to go aggressive with this red. BLG aren't really interested in trying to contest this one. Again, concerned about any extra power that could come in. The Cannon Barrage isn't available right now, but now they are moving towards Breathe and should just be able to pick up this tower pretty easily. Actually, the wave might die now. They should just be able to zone enemy team off. Aki will be able to do enough just to take it. So OMG answering back pretty well.
Yeah, and, you know, they were a little bit worried there about the extra defenses the tower had, but with 14 minutes slowly creeping up, it was enough to take away those extra resistances. We are going to see Shanji just trying to defend against FoFo right now, and it's very difficult. Having that extra little bit of range just, you know, above the things like a Gwen is just going to be so much more, you know, useful, if you will. And having missed that barrel means they do not clear the wave, and now there is going to be the ultimate use. He doesn't land though, and now they can maybe go for the flash, predict, and they catch out WeiWei. Cold, you're a madman. That was beautiful.
What a beast. Catches him, locks him down, secures the turnaround kill, and OMG, they got everything they wanted, right? They got the play on the bot side, the tower, they reset, they come top, they defend their own top laner. Shanji didn't even have to burn the cannon barrage there. Oh god, I can't wait to see this replay. So yeah, I mean, Shanji flashes the ultimate, makes sure they can't pull off the dive, and then I don't know how much of this was a predict and how much of it was a bad flash from WeiWei. The thing is with Nautilus is even if you miss them, if you hit the wall, you're fine. But either way, WeiWei burns his summoner and goes down, and OMG still have the cannon barrage available. So perfect situation for them.
Yeah, minute 40 until Dragon spawns as well. Kraken Slayer with the Triforce, and of course the Luden's Tempest picked up on everyone on the side of OMG, and that's just a very, very unfortunate. And it was such a close gold lead. Now all of a sudden it's 1,000 gold and maybe a little bit more in favor of OMG. They're the ones again just outplaying their opponent. Yes, we can criticize them in game one for some of the weird decision making they had going into certain fights, but they are still coming out on top. They are still looking strong, and this is a much closer game one, or much closer than game one for the side of BLG, but they've got to play this smart because right now OMG have their number.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that you have Doggo strong, but he's falling behind in levels compared to Abel. Not exactly the situation you want. They are starting up the Herald right now. Can be a little bit risky with the Cannon Barrage.
They're on vision, but it looks like the Dragon is the protocol here for OMG. They recognize that the Infernal Soul gives them a hell of a lot more power than just the odd Cannon wave, or excuse me, the Rift Herald wave. So they're not really too worried about that. While it's happening, we did see a little bit of proxy farming coming out from Shanji, as the rest of OMG now get control over top and bot. They can rotate now in 30 seconds, take this Dragon, and this puts them onto Soul Point. BLG will have to answer in 5.5 minutes time.
Yeah, and I mean, Creme is fine. He's going to try and clear this wave as much as possible. He's fine giving up this tower to secure the Dragon. WeiWei is so far away, they don't have vision control around the Dragon area. OMG should just be able to secure it.
They should be able to secure it. The Cannon Barrage comes out. The Shockwave is not going to land again. Creme is going to go down, and the turret does get taken out. So Dragon is going to be secured here in 3 or 4 seconds, but BLG picking up the pace a little bit. BLG looking to make as much of a dent in that gold lead as possible. And in fact, once this tower goes down, they'll have the gold lead.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's good if you're trading away, right? BLG really got a lot out of this. They got a kill, they got 2 towers. They can be happy in that regard, but it's still... it's very risky, right? They opted not to go for the fight around the Dragon, but you're now given 3 over to OMG. They are 1 away from the Infernal Soul. 22-minute Soul would be super early. And the thing is, it now comes down to that one fight, right? And you could win the fight, but lose the Smite battle, and then you know that Infernal Soul is in OMG's hands the rest of the game. If you keep them on 2, then even if you lose the Smite fight, you know, you should garner enough of a lead if you grab like a Baron to win the game. Definitely things on a bit of a knife's edge. Pressure is on for BLG. They are 1-0 down in the series. As much as they have the gold lead, those Dragons cause issue.
Those Dragons cause major issue. 4.5 minutes and you will have to fight. They do, however, have 2 items onto Doggo, so he's in a pretty damn good state of the game as the rest of BLG join him into that mid lane, get themselves some nice vision control around there, and it's all about the vision control. It's all about the amount of information you have available to you. As WeiWei, now with the ball on top of him, it's going to be a fight over Scuttle. Not exactly the objective I expected us to see a fight at, but you know what? I'll take it. As we now have the Trundle Pillar of Filth coming out. They're going to try and maybe catch up the Creme. There's a TP coming in the backside of this. They've got no flash on Creme. There's going to be an answer of a TP as Chris goes in, tries to get something going. That's a great Crescent Guard to disengage absolutely everybody. It's a good Moonlight Vigil, but just not enough. Now WeiWei doesn't have the stats to stay alive. As I say that, though, it's going to be Doggo going absolutely ham in this bot side, and he's still alive. Finally ticks down. It's a 3 for 2 in favor of OMG, but it's still very, very close.
Oh, Doggo posed so much threat. You could see Abel throughout that entire fight contemplating, can I auto, can I auto, can I auto? And often the answer was no, because Doggo is just standing there ready, and the second you start to commit, he goes in with a big AoE. Yes, he goes down, but honestly, OMG looked like they were winning that fight by a large margin, you can see. So it pans out, starts off here. The Crescent Guard to spread the fight and absorb all this damage is beautiful. Crisp deleted instantly. We see WeiWei chunked out pretty well quickly after. Look at Abel, right? Constantly toying with the idea of stepping forwards, but he knows Doggo is here on the flank. No one was in a position to deal with him. He does finally go in, but deals enough damage that OMG have to back off, even though they have a numbers advantage.
Yeah, great little work there from Doggo just to keep his team in it. And that was before the the rapid fire cannon came in there for Abel. So we are going to see another fight like that in 2 minutes 40 seconds. I didn't expect to see a fight around the Scuttlebug, but both these teams know that it's a game of centimeters, millimeters even. A small little bit of extra gold can be the difference in you completing an item. It can be the difference in you getting a team fight and getting you that dub.
I think it's just both teams feel fairly confident, right? They both have a lot of strong elements in the composition, but I'm going to hold the thought. FoFo flanking. I think he's just dead.
I think he's dead. Cannon Barrage going to come down here as Breathe He's taking a lot of damage, but there's a good ultimate there from FoFo to keep the Shanji Gangplank down. They burn away his Gangplank ult, they burn away his flash. Lots of things used there to try and kill him, but at the end of the day, like I said, those small little numbers will be the big difference.
Yeah, they commit to the bot side, so they're not really going to be able to do anything around the Baron, which is fortunate because Shanji burning his ult can cause problems there. It's one of the biggest tools to mitigate Baron pressure, but it is ticking away quite quickly. It should be back up soon enough. They are going to clear some vision in the area, though. Crisp and WeiWei just pairing up. And I think, you know, BLG have shown a lot of agency. They know they can be confident. FoFo is constantly move the side lanes to punish, and they have the Thresh, that big safety net that just makes it so much harder to punish them in return.
And we talked about, or rather I talked about how I needed FoFo to back himself up, to get himself into a position where he looked like a mid laner that could be along the best in the in the LPL. And he has done that this game. He's been very proactive, has constantly linking up with Breathe. It's exactly what you want to be seeing as a BLG fan, because this is a series that you 100% should be coming out and winning. This is a series that you 100% should be getting that second win in series column. And now it's going to be on OMG to try and quell that. How do you stop this BLG hype train? How do you stop them from just taking over the game? Because they still have about 1,000 gold lead. Doesn't mean that much, though, in this stage of the game.
You know, I disagree. I'm a Chad OMG believer, right? OMG have the mojo.
Sorry, I didn't realize Lyric was in the chat. Like, Mr. Flip-Flop here.
OMG looking good, right? They got one dragon to go before Soul. They're only 1,000 gold down. It's not super relevant at this point. Let's see how the fight goes.
Oh, Cold. Not going to pull the trigger just yet, but FoFo takes a lot of damage. Cold misses. In a sea of trees, he misses the forest, and that's going to mean that the mid lane is in priority, though, for OMG, and it looks like BLG does a little bit too early to that dragon setup. It's going to be the turret taken down now by OMG, so that's going to open up the map just that little bit more. They might just say, take the dragon. We don't care. We're going to turn and burn for the Baron because you cannot give up this objective.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that a dragon for BLG is like whatever,
oh, they didn't
right?
check it. They didn't check it. They don't know that there's a ward in it.
Oh my god, they just need to lock in.
They just need to lock in. They need to go for something. Now they do. They're a little bit low, a little bit late on the party. It's going to be the dragon soloed out by Doggo. So it is not going to be a soul just yet for OMG. Baron has been started up. Now they know that it's been going on. But you can see OMG are ready to turn and burn. They don't actually want this objective. They want the fight. The cannon barrage down. And that's WeiWei dead. They traded for Cole, but he does not care. Breathe, trying to do something with his ultimate. The needlework trying to do work, but they're not able to take him down. It will be enough to dissuade the rest of OMG for going for much else. The Dark Passage is perfect. Thresh doing what Thresh does best and keeping his team alive. It's a 1-for-1, but BLG got the dragon.
Yeah, BLG managed to finesse it, right? They managed to get the dragon and get out. It's a 1-for-1 trade. You take that. Now, it is your jungler, so OMG might try and play with him again. Start off the dragon. It's forcing Breeze TP at a minimum.
Got the TP out. They know it's been taken down. FoFo and Doggo still yet to reset.
Scary.
Here we go. It's a little scary. Aki goes straight in, though, and they're going to try and take this fight. They will get Breed to go into stasis as this one happens. Creme got locked up and will be taken down. Doggo 100 to 0s in with basically just the ultimate. And now the the shoe is on the other foot. BLG are going to start up the dragon, or Baron, I should say. That's a great hook there, as we can see more moves coming in, but Abel is still alive. We've been here before. We've seen what Abel can do on this pick. Zhonya's are being thrown out left and right. The Super Mega Death Rocket does not hit. And Aphelios finds the snipe. Great move by Doggo there to keep his team in the ascendancy. And now Aki is on the run. WeiWei is going to be a very fast man with the command dissonance. And Aki has nowhere to run. Aki has nowhere to go. And Aki is just going to delay them. Honestly, this isn't even a bad play from Aki. If he can just keep them here for as long as possible, he can get some resets. But at the end of it all, it's still going to be BLG getting the fight. It's still going to be BLG getting the Baron. It's still going to be BLG going for this. But as I say that, Creme is here. So is Cole. They're still going.
They're still going to fight. Creme's healthy. He can look for this, right?
They don't have any flashes. They don't have any flashes. It will be Aphelios to secure it. They have got the gravity wave down, but Chaos Storm not going to do enough. We'll calm ourselves down. Everyone take a breath. And let's go back into this game. BLG coming out strong.
Longest replay of all time coming up here. Yeah, I mean, just they're on the Baron. Turn around. Beautiful play. Crisp play. Excellent. And put so much pressure on both Shanji and Abel in this situation. And then it's unfortunate. Abel, if he timed the rocket better, I'm not sure if it would have killed FoFo, but he was going for the reset to get out. And at that point, they just get run down. OMG fumble, and BLG capitalize, right? They stop the soul from being collected. They're able to go and contest from a Baron. And honestly, I'm just going to say it, man. You start the Baron, you have 4 members in the pit when most of them are immobile carries. You're not going to have a good time, especially you against an Orianna, you're against a Trundle. You throw a pillar down at the entrance of the Baron pit, you're really doomed. You put a ball at the entrance of the Baron pit and threaten a shockwave, again, you're really doomed. It just wasn't a good fight to take. And now, BLG with the lead, BLG feeling confident. They have the Baron to work with.
OMG find themselves, for the first time in a very long time, in a deficit. Coming up to the 26-minute mark, they will take down their 3rd turret of the game. Only a 4,000 gold lead for the moment. Baron still ticking for a minute 40. It will keep going until that dragon spawns. I imagine OMG will be happy to give up that dragon, not look to try and contest it. They are a full item behind, well, maybe a half an item behind this Aphelios in terms of the AD carries. Abel still waiting to pick up his Infinity Edge. That is when this game will get very, very interesting. And now BLG feeling confident, feeling strong to push forward. And honestly, they might get 2 turrets out of this minimum.
Yeah, I mean, they're already getting a tower bot. Can't really hold off the Gwen in this situation, so it's going to be difficult. We do see Shanji pushing on this side of the map, so obviously able to get some return trades there, but they have lost so many structures so quickly. This gold lead is going to be ballooning out now.
It's going to be ballooning out. I will say Shanji is taking a fair chunk out of it and will trade it back equally enough. So, yes, you do lose 3 towers, but you gained 2 on the other side. So, at the end of it all, it's not that bad of a trade here for OMG. BLG still happy, though, to know that they've pushed the rest of OMG back into their base, and we will have the dragon spawning in 40 seconds.
Yeah, so OMG want to quickly get on the map, try and establish some vision, because the thing is with those towers down, there's much longer distance to sort of traverse from the safety of your towers to the objective. And it looks like the LG will be here first. They're going to fan out and try and establish vision control. We'll see if OMG can contest this.
Oh, Aki, a little bit of trouble here, and caught between a rock and a pillar of filth, and will get hooked down as well. There's nothing the Cannon Barrage can do here, and that means the rest of OMG to run away. Creme might have to use his flash, as will Cold. Never mind, Cold's not even going to bother because he is just dead. As I say that, they are trying to turn this one around just a little bit. Breathe is running away much, so close. And Doggo takes down Creme. Doggo is going to be able to take down the Jinx as well. And now he is fearless. He is just running at these people. Triple kill for Doggo, as BLG will now have the death timers to take this game.
What a performance from Doggo in this one. You're asking where is Uzi? Well, Doggo is here. Managed to snipe them out in that fight. Really solid performance throughout this game, and with that, they're able to equalize the series. The Chat OMG believers are at the wit's end at this point. 2 members respawn, but it's not enough to defend.
Not enough to defend, and for the first time this split, OMG will take their loss. They are 1-1 in the series. BLG keeping us interesting in this second series. I knew coming in today with the first series and the second, these were low-key